introduction.
I'm ready. Okay. Ready. Hare Krishna. We are very fortunate to have Her Grace Radhika Kripa Mataji in Canberra, from all the way from India. Actually, she is coming after 12 years. She used to come 12 years back in Australia, and after 12 years, now she is coming again. So we welcome Mataji here, and we are very grateful that she is giving her divine association to all of us. It's very great for Canberra congregation. And Radhika Kripa Mata is very senior disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and she resides in Delhi, in Punjabi Bagh, and she travels all around the world and give discourses, and she's a very good book distributor as well. As you see today, Mataji sent the video as well, Mahadaya Mataji's group. So Mataji did book distribution this morning as well with the devotees. And so again, thank you very much, Mataji, for giving us your divine association. And now we'll hear class from Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Gyani Thimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshnamalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Kadamayam Dadati Swampadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapat Kamlam Shri Gurana Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sakritam Sahagan Raganatvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanitavascha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Vancha Kalpataru Bhaksha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hi Krishna. So I welcome you all for the session on Bhagavad Gita, a Sunday feast lecture that happens all over the world due to Srila Prabhupada's mercy, the founder Acharya of ISKCON International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So that is what Prabhupada gave us, a Sunday feast where we can all get together and know the Supreme Lord and enjoy a feast as well. So we are very fortunate that we are here in his shelter. And as I was giving a discourse yesterday, I was asking everybody, what in the world, everybody, wherever I travel, I ask them, what do you want in this world? What are you looking for? So I hope so the same reply would come. Those who were not present yesterday, they would reply the same. Everybody is looking for peace and happiness. So that is why they will wander from one place to another, because they think they will find peace and happiness somewhere at least. But that peace and happiness, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the foremost philosophical book. It's a scripture indeed, but it's a book of knowledge. It gives us knowledge. It is a book of philosophy, topmost philosophy. I know so many psychologists all over the world. Even Srila Prabhupada met so many psychologists who refer to Bhagavad Gita for all of their actions. They refer to Bhagavad Gita. Whenever they are confused, whenever they are bewildered, they open up the Bhagavad Gita to get an answer from it. And of course, if any one of us even opens up a Bhagavad Gita and has a question in mind, the answer is there. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, he says that there is no question that has not been answered by me in this book of knowledge. In 700 verses, he has covered everything, answered everything for us. Whenever we are in confused state of mind, when we cannot make a decision, when we are actually stuck at a position where we are unable to take a decision, Bhagavad Gita helps us. It's Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita means it's a celestial song. It is a song sung by the Supreme Lord himself. He sang this song for us. In 700 verses, he gave us all the answers to our questions that would disturb us, that would actually hinder our advancement in material world as well as in the spiritual world. He talks of everything. May it be material also. Because everything material depends upon the spiritual in you. How your mind is controlled, how you have your mind in control yourself, like what control you have upon yourself. Your material advancement actually depends upon that. If you are not spiritually strong, you cannot make strong material decisions. That cannot happen. If you have some decision to make, you need some base for it. You need something, some understanding for it. So Bhagavad Gita helps us. It helps us in many ways. It helps us to get out of the action and reaction cycle. There is a chain of action and reaction. Bhagavad Gita helps us to come out of it. Because that chain of action and reaction is actually the reason for the reincarnation. It's the reason that we always come back. There is reincarnation, we may agree to it or not agree to it. But there is reincarnation, that happens. So Bhagavad Gita actually touches all the points. Krishna has gone chapter-wise it is. Prabhupada has given a beautiful commentary on it for us to understand it so easily. So Bhagavad Gita is a book of knowledge, one has to accept it. And the knowledge cannot remain, you cannot sustain the knowledge unless you have the mercy of a spiritual master. If you have the mercy of there are 4 kinds of guru, 4 kinds of spiritual master. The first is it's said to be Marg Pradaksha, the one who shows you the path. That is the guru, who shows you the path. The second is the one who gives you the shiksha. Shiksha means instructions, who guides you. Fourth is the diksha, initiating master, who initiates you into the path of spiritual world. And the fourth one is the Chatya Guru, that's Krishna himself, who is sitting in our hearts, who is sitting in everyone's heart. He says, I am seated in everyone's heart. I am witnessing everything what you are doing. I don't interfere. I witness, but I don't interfere. I have given you minute independence. So that minute independence, how we use it, it is up to us. And he trains us in Bhagavad Gita. His verses, whatever he has spoken, that trains us how to use that minute independence. That's all. He's giving us training. He's not forcing us to use it. Some people say, oh, if he really wants us back to be with him, then why doesn't he just take us away and we are with him? No. He wants it to be voluntary. We accept him voluntarily. We do service to him voluntarily. He doesn't want to use force upon us. It's our wish that we are here, and it should be our wish that we want to be back with him. So that is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us, the path, the way to go back. And Bhagavad Gita, it tells us, it introduces us to our own problems in this world. We are unaware of these sufferings in the world. We think, oh, everything is so nice, Canberra is very beautiful. Wherever I go, they think the city they're living in is very beautiful. It's got everything they needed. So whether it's New York, whether it's Vancouver, whether it's Tokyo, whether it's New Delhi, everybody says, oh, I'm very happy. I am enjoying. I love my relatives here. I have friends here. I have my circle here. We are having a gala time here. But then everybody knows. Knowing also, they just ignore it. That there are 4 problems Krishna talks about in the Bhagavad Gita. He says everybody is gonna be in distress, suffering, because birth is a suffering. Death is a suffering. Disease is a suffering. Old age is a suffering in itself. So how come birth is a suffering? We all think, oh, birth is such a, we rejoice when somebody is pregnant. We enjoy, we rejoice, we are so happy. But you know, the child that is in the womb suffers a lot for 9 months. That's in the Bhagavatam it's given. And I'm an author of many books. And I belong to Sikh family. So I have written books that have similarities of, that's an interfaith you may call. The quotes from the Granth Sahib, the sacred book of the Sikhs, and from the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. The similar quotes, it's exactly similarities. So it says in the Bhagavatam in the 3rd canto, where Kapil, the Lord Kapila, he actually tells his mother, Devahuti, how the child is born, how it is conceived in mother's womb. You would be surprised, these scriptures were written 5,000 years back. And they give a detailed explanation of how the child is formed in mother's womb, just like as if you're reading a science book, a bio book. It gives such a deep explanation of everything, how the ovum and the sperm, they meet, what happens then, in what day what happens, then what week what happens. It describes everything. So this is how our scriptures have actually given us the detailed information. So we are very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada gave us the commentaries on such intricate topics so that we could understand ourselves. So it tells there, Lord Kapila tells his mother that how the child suffers in mother's womb. It is placed in such a place where he is just bowed down. He is in an arch form. And his hands are clasped together as if he's praying. He's praying to the Lord, please take me out of this hell. I will be your devotee now. I will surrender to you. But as soon as he comes out of the mother's womb, he forgets everything. Because the illusionary energy is at work here. And that illusionary energy is also the work of Krishna. Because it belongs to Krishna only. Because everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. So Krishna tells that you want to get rid of this illusionary energy, then you have to surrender to me. If you come to me, if you work according to my instructions, then I will tell this illusionary energy to relieve you. Then you will be free from it. Otherwise, you will have to suffer at the hands of the illusionary energy. That's called Maya in simple language. So the Bhagavad Gita tells us that how a child that grows up and how his life actually, the body keeps on changing, but the soul inside never changes. Your soul is the same when you were a kid. The soul is the same when you're 6-year-old or 6 days old or 60 years old. The soul remains the same. Soul is not going to change. Your body is changing with time. Time eats up everything. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, I am the time. The cycle of time is me. So as we will go back to the topic that how the child is actually suffering in mother's womb. It says that if he's fortunate, the child is he's gonna see face to face the Supreme Lord in mother's womb. And then he promises that he remembers all his past deeds, past karmas even, if he's fortunate enough. And then he says, I will surrender to you. But then illusory energy, it actually goes in it grabs him. But then it says that if you are surrendered to the Supreme Lord, if you become a devotee, you will go back to Godhead. It's clearly mentioned. And in the Granth Sahib even, the scripture of the Sikhs, it says, Garab mein haath dekar rakhya. In the mother's womb, nobody can protect us except the Supreme Lord himself. Just think about how a child, when he comes out, can you fit it back into the uterus? No. He has had a terrible journey. The child comes out, and it cannot be placed back like that by any human being. So it proves in itself that when it was in the mother's womb, who was protecting it? It was the Supreme Lord who was protecting it. So likewise, birth is a very challenging thing. It's mother's rebirth, it said. When a child is born, the mother takes a rebirth. She is born again. And it says that science proves it, that when the delivery happens, a normal delivery happens, then so it says like 60 bones fracture, the pain of 60 bones when they are fractured, that happens. She has to go through that terrible pain. So that is how birth is not an easy thing. It's a big suffering for mother as well. Then death, we all know it's a suffering. Nobody wants to get separated. Death means separation, and nobody wants to be separated from the near and dear ones. But it happens. Death is not going to leave any home. Every house, every family suffers through the pain. They have to undergo the pain of actually getting separated from the near and dear ones. That is going to happen in everybody's life. Everybody has to die. It says in the Granth Sahib again that sabko aayi hai wari. That means everybody is in the queue, One by one, everybody will be gone. So he says, this is a suffering. Of course, it's a suffering. We know it. And then he tells us, even disease is a suffering. Unborn child can suffer from a problem, from disease. What to say of the ones who are alive, still they are here. Those who are in the mother's womb, they also can suffer from disease. When they are out, they can suffer. A child, a baby, or one day can suffer from a disease. What to say of the other human beings? Any moment, any suffering can befall upon you. And then you have the old age. Old age is a package of disease and everything along with it. It brings everything. People may want to hide their age, but then they cannot actually hide the body that is going old. The body is growing old. You cannot hide it by even coloring our hair or going for aesthetic, doctors. That won't help us. So we have to accept this. Bhagavad Gita tells us how to accept these 4 problems, major issues of our life. And Krishna says there are 3 more along with it. He says not only these 4, but there are 3 more. Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. These are called again the trap. Trap means that the suffering that comes from the outer world. Adi Devik is from the nature. Nature gives us so many things. When we actually exploit nature, what happens? There are the tsunamis, there are the floods, there are droughts. So many things happen, and we have to suffer them. And then there is Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik. Adi Bhautik is when the other jivas, other species give us pain. Even a mosquito can make us, we can have so many diseases, even a mosquito can kill us. There are many problems that come from a tiny mosquito. We have seen the corona, what's the worst? We could not see it with naked eye, and that bacteria, that virus was killing everybody all over the world. Nobody had thought of that. A small virus could actually kill so many people. Lakhs of people died. So that is what Krishna tells us, this will happen. And then he says, Adhyatmik, that is your mind itself is going to give you trouble. The biggest enemy will be your mind. Lust, anger, greed, that is all in there, in your self itself. And that is going to give you trouble. Extreme trouble it will give you. So he says, in all these are 7 things from which nobody can actually be protected except I can protect them. On your own, you cannot get relief of all these 7 things. You will be suffering at the hands of these 7. But how will you come out of it? Then he gives the solution. That's why I said Bhagavad Gita has got the solution to all the problems in our lives. So these are the basic main problems we have. But we are very unintelligent when we only think of the problems that are very trivial, very small. That is my job, my family, my this, my that. Just think of these 7 and what to say of how we are actually here. We are thinking of small things, and small things of being enviousness, being enemy to others, having hatred. These are such things that we should not be actually. When we think of the bigger problems, then these small problems, they will automatically go away. You will be friendly to everybody because you're not going to live here permanently. You're here for few years only. So for few years, why do you want to have hatred among ourselves? Love would replace it. Humility will come, forgiveness will come, tolerance will come, patience will come, if you see in the face of these 7 problems, the main problems. So this is so easy. Krishna has made us, it's so easy for us to understand this. Because this understanding will actually relieve us from the tension, the chaos that we are suffering here, the confusion, the bewilderment we are suffering here. That will help us to surrender to Krishna. It will help us to actually serve Krishna with love. So that's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tesham sata yuktanam bhajantam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yanamam upentite. So he says, those who remember me constantly, they always chant my name, they understand my glories, they give my glories to others. To them what I give them. They are so dear to me that I give them what? Dadami buddhi yogantam. I give them the intelligence to come to me. The intelligence is coming from Him. If we want to surrender to Him, the intelligence comes from Him. But when it does come, it comes when we actually remember Him always. When we sing His glories always. When we say that, yes, we admit that, yes, He is the Supreme Lord. He is the one without whom we cannot survive this world. There's a beautiful incident when the battle of Kurukshetra was about to happen, the Mahabharata. That was about to happen. Krishna is in his rooms. He's invited Duryodhana and he is invited Arjuna. He invites both of them. He says, come to my room and I have to give you 2 options and you select one. And that's what he tells them, to come to his room. So for the selection of the option that he's going to place before them. So Duryodhana is full of pride. He's full of arrogance. When he enters the room, Krishna is lying down, half eyes closed. And Duryodhana, being very proud, he stands at the head side. He would go to the lotus feet of Krishna. So he's standing right at the head of Krishna. And when Arjuna enters, he stands right at the lotus feet of Krishna because he's totally surrendered. He stands there and then Krishna opens up his half eyes and he says that I'm going to put 2 options before you both. The first option will be that I am not participating directly in this war. I'm not going to participate. On one side, it will be one option is that there will be my army. Fully weaponized army, celestially weaponized army. With celestial weapons, they will be there. And they will be in millions in number. And on the other hand, the second option is me, myself, without any weapon, I will just be a chariot driver. I will not participate in the war with any weapon. I will just drive the chariot. That's all. I will be present without a weapon, just as a chariot driver. Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. And in some scriptures it says that first option was given to Arjuna, or first choice to be made was given to Duryodhana. But I would go with the second one where it says that the choice to pick up the options was given to Duryodhana first. So Duryodhana, he says, what will I do with a chariot driver like you? I've got hundreds of lakhs of chariot drivers. I don't need you. Why do I need you? Without any weapon, a chariot driver like you. I don't need it. He says, I will go for the second option where I will have the army with celestial weapons. I will go for that. And Krishna smilingly says, Tathastu, done. You will get it. And he's very happy and he's smilingly with full arrogance. He goes and walks out of the room thinking that he has already won the battle. He's already got it. Because he thinks that he's got so many of his own army, he's got a big army, now he's got more of the soldiers, now it's all done. And he thinks, Pandavas who are they? Just 5 of them? Then they're going to have a chariot driver like Krishna, who is not going to pick up any weapon. And then a very small army they have. Duryodhana was it says he knew the best of the politics, he was the best politician. He had even convinced Even the Pandavas' real uncles, their mother's real brothers, they had been convinced by Duryodhana to fight from his side. The Pandavas had lost them also. They had such relatives who would not stand with them now, but would stand with Duryodhana. So now Duryodhana was thinking he has won the battle already. But there, Arjuna is standing there, and he is looking at Krishna, and Krishna is smiling. And Krishna then asked Arjuna, why are you now in such a distress? What makes you distressed now? Now we are there, I'm gonna be at your side, being the chariot driver. So Arjuna says, yes, I was very worried when if Duryodhana would have picked you up, that option, then what would we have done? We were like totally, we would have lost the battle like we would have lost, if we would have lost you. If he would have picked you up, then we would have been actually in total distress. So then Krishna smiles and says, if I had given intelligence to Duryodhana to pick me up, then only he would have picked me up. I did not give him the intelligence to choose me. The intelligence to choose the army was given to him. Why I made him do that? Because he's not worth it to have me with him. He does not respect Krishna, he does not serve Krishna. So how could Krishna go with him? So we think, we make the choices sometimes. We don't do anything. If we surrender to Krishna, Krishna makes it easy for us to make the choice. He makes the choice for us. But if we are surrendered like Arjuna, if we are not surrendered like Arjuna, then we will be like Duryodhana. We would be picking up the other options, not Krishna. Because how we are doing? Because we are not surrendered, so Krishna makes it happen that we pick up that choice. That's how it is, the spiritual life is. If we are surrendered to the Supreme Lord, it says in the Bhagavad Gita even, Krishna tells clearly how you would come to me. It is through the medium of the spiritual master, he says. Tadvidi pradvatena preprashnaina sevya. Go and serve the spiritual master. Serve the spiritual master, be submissive. Ask your spiritual master, what should be done? How should I go ahead? Be very submissive, very humble, full of humility, full of forgiveness, gratitude. These all qualities you need to imbibe. That's what Lord Chaitanya says. Yes, you have to be very humble. So humble that you should learn from the blade of grass. People walk on the grass and the grass does not complain. You just step on the head of the grass, and then the grass, when you lift your feet away, the grass again stands up. It doesn't complain. The trees don't complain. They give you so much. They give you shade. That is how you learn tolerance from them. Then you go give respect to others. Don't expect respect for yourself. That is how you're going to be. So you will have the humility in you. When you give respect to each and every being, even the ants on the floor when they walk, give them the respect, give them the space to walk. Don't step on them. Take care when you see even smaller ants there. So this is how we respect every living being. And then what happens, those who follow this, it's for sure they're going to chant the glories of Krishna always. And if we sing the glories of Krishna, if we talk of Krishna all the time, then Krishna is taking care of us. He helps us to make the right decisions because he's he's in our hearts. And he knows that this person is very sincere. He's surrendering sincerely. He's very sincere in his surrender. So when a person is very sincere in his surrender, then Krishna helps us. He helps us at every point, single point he helps us. We know the story of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was a son of a demon. He is the son of Hiranyakashipu. But how he is protected by Krishna? He is protected, Hiranyakashipu was given a boon by Brahma that how he will never die. How he will not die? He will die, but not outside or inside. He was very clever, Hiranyakashipu. He took a boon, he did the austerity, the tapasya, meditation for so many thousands of years to get a boon from Brahmaji that he wanted that he should never die. But Brahma said, That cannot be given because I also have an age. I also die. I cannot give you this boon. Then Hiranyakashipu was very clever. He said, why not you give me a boon that no human being or not a single animal can kill me, not a human being can kill me. I should not be killed outside, inside. I will not die. I will not die up in the air, on the ground. I should not die with any weapon. No astra, no shastra. Nothing can kill me. And not in the morning, not in the evening. I should not die. So he said, okay, I give you. And when he thought, he's given me all these boons, now there is nobody who can kill me. There are always a human being or an animal or other animals, that is the other species, or a human being. So now there is nothing is left who can come and kill me. Either there are human beings, either there are other species. But I've taken a boon that other species cannot kill me, nor a human being can kill me. Then how can I die? So he was thinking he's become eternal. And then, when Prahlad was being actually tortured by his own father wanted to kill him. But Prahlad was a great devotee of the Lord. He had surrendered to Lord. He was singing the glories of the Lord. He was preaching. He was preaching in the adverse circumstances. He was actually preaching in the Gurukul, in the school where he was studying. He was sent by his father to that school to learn politics. His gurus were told to teach him politics. But his masters, the school masters, they could not teach him. Because he was always singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. He was telling his friends, his schoolmates, classmates to sing with him. And everybody was actually, Hiranyakashipu was very furious to know all this. And then he called for Prahlad. When he called for Prahlad in his courtroom, Prahlad came. And then he asked Prahlad, where is your Supreme Lord? Where is Vishnu? You're always chanting the glories of Vishnu. Where is your Vishnu? And then Prahlad says, he's everywhere. He says, he is in this pillar. In the courtroom, there were many pillars in the palace. And Hiranyakashipu asked him, is he there in the pillar? Prahlad, with full confidence, he said, yes, he is there in the pillar. And Hiranyakashipu said that I'm going to finish him permanently, I'm going to finish him now. I'm going to kill your Vishnu now. And he, with a full force, took out his sword and he hit the pillar. As he hit the pillar actually bursted. And out came Lord Narasimha. Half man, half lion. Nobody had seen he had not imagined even such a Swarup, such a figure that would be actually half man, half lion. Such a species never had been seen. Nobody had ever seen such a person. And that was Lord Narasimha, that was Krishna himself, Keshav Dhrita Narhari Rupa. Krishna took the form of Lord Narasimha. And we may say, oh, it is a mythology. Oh, it can't happen. But if it can't happen, it has been mentioned in the Granth Sahib again. In the scriptures of the Sikhs, it's very much mentioned, the whole story of Prahlad. Whole story of Prahlad where Narasimha appears. It says there, Hare Narhari, Hare Narhari, Hare Hare. It's the glories of Lord Narasimha is sung there as well. So it cannot be mythology when great acharyas speak of Lord Narasimha. So Lord Narasimha appeared and he killed Hiranyakashipu. And he kept all the boon that was given to Hiranyakashipu, that was taken care of, what Brahma had given him. So what Brahma had given him, that he would not be killed outside or inside. So it was in the doorway, in the passage, where the door is, there. The Lord Narasimha picked up Hiranyakashipu. It was not up in the air, not on the ground. He put him on his lap and he did it with no weapons. With his nails he tore him off. And like it was not in the morning or in the evening, it was in the dusk time. So he took care of all that and he killed Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad is a devotee. Prahlad is 100% surrendered to Krishna. But he is not happy when his father is killed. Though his father was trying to kill him all the time, torture him all the time. Prahlad sees Krishna in the form of Lord Narasimha sitting there. And he's very furious. Lord Narasimha has got red eyes and he's very, very full of anger because his dear devotee had been hurt. His dear devotee had been actually tortured by this man, Hiranyakashipu. So the others, all the demigods and the celestial It is said, Gandharvas and Charas, everybody had appeared there. Lakshmi there was there, the wife, the consort of Lord Narasimha, she was there. But Narasimha was full of anger. Lord Narasimha was full of anger. And now the demigods, they all wanted to pacify Lord Narasimha. They fold their hands and go to Lakshmi ji and they say, please go and pacify your husband. He is full of anger right now. So please pacify him. Lakshmi says, I cannot do that. I cannot go near him right now. Only his devotee can go near him. Only Prahlad can do that. And they gave a garland to Prahlad. Prahlad, a 7-year-old child, walks to Lord Narasimha and garlands him and sings the glories of Lord Narasimha. And when he garlands him, and then Lord Narasimha asks him, what do you want? Ask, I have appeared before you. Your every wish will be fulfilled. What do you want from me? Just say that. You are a very dear devotee of mine. And then Prahlad says, I don't want to do any business with you like that. You have appeared, I don't want to do any business. It's a business. When we come and we pray to Krishna, you give me this, you give me that, and in return, I will come and I will do this for you, I will do that for you. That is actually trading. So a devotee does not do any trading. He just surrenders. That's all, out of love. So Prahlad actually says that, and then Lord Narasimha assures him, no, please say what you want. Then Prahlad with folded hands says, please liberate my father. Give him liberation. I know he's a demon, but liberate him. And Lord Narasimha says, you don't have to say that. He has got the death from my hands. And if a devotee is born in a family, and even if his generations that have gone by were demons, will be liberated by the Supreme Lord. If one person is a devotee in the house. So it's very fortunate if we become a devotee, we can help our families, the generations of our families. It's not only our family that is right now present with us, the generations of our family that have gone by. We can help them as well. This is the power of bhakti, power of devotion. So this is given in the scriptures. This is not a mythology, this is not just a tale to tell. It is the truth. It has. So even in the Gurbani it says, Meri pattiyan likh diyo Shri Gopal, main na chodu Ram naam. That's what Prahlad says. And on my slate, on my copy, where I write we go to the school, we write the work we get, in the classroom, whatever we are taught, we are writing in the copy. The teachers tell us to write this, that. And Prahlad is writing always Gopal, Gopal, Shri Hari, Gopal. So he says, Meri pattiyan likh diyo Shri Gopal, main na chodu Ram naam. I will not leave this name, whatever you may do to me. So that is what a devotee is. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mama vijanati. Only my devotees can know me. Nobody else can know me. That's why Arjuna knew Krishna. Arjuna is Gudakesh. Gudakesh means, in Sanskrit, Gudakesh means one who has conquered sleep, who has conquered ignorance. Sleep actually denotes ignorance. Who has conquered ignorance, he is Gudakesh. And Arjuna is Gudakesh. And Arjuna is actually the role model for us. That is why Bhagavad Gita was spoken to him. He was the chosen one, that we should learn from him. He is actually the ideal for us. We have so many ideals out in the outside world, in the material world. A cricketer, a film star, a sports star, we make them our ideals. But it's not that. Our ideals should be Arjuna. We want to become a devotee like Arjuna. Arjuna is fully surrendered. He's showing that surrender. Krishna tells him, how Arjuna wanted to control his mind. He asked Krishna, and how can I control my mind? My mind is actually running away with the velocity, the wind. The wind is actually blowing at a greater velocity. But our mind is greater. It goes away like wind. It says, Krishna manaha chanchala. Hey Krishna, the mind is very, very chanchal. That means it's bewildering all the time, flickering. I'm sitting here, my mind can be 1,000 miles away. It's not necessary. Physically, I'm here in the temple, my presence is here very much. But my mind may not be here. My mind may be somewhere else, maybe 1,000 miles away. Then Krishna is asked by Arjuna, how can I control my mind? How can I bring it back all the time? He says, you have to practice. He says the acts. He talks of the acts of detachment and knowledge. He clearly says acts means that you have to be very blunt with your mind. You have to use this. He did not say very coolly sit down and just with a scissor you can do that. He said, no, take an axe. And then you just, with acts of detachment and knowledge. He's so strongly telling that. So one has to take the knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, and then the detachment will come. So detachment is actually when the Rupa Goswami, a great acharya, he tells us, he talks of Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means detachment. And he talks of Yukta Vairagya, that is, you may be in a big house, you may be living in a nice house, a comfortable house. You may have nice comforts of life, you may have a car, you may have everything. So that doesn't mean that you can't be detached. Still you can be detached. You may have everything in the world, all the riches of the world. But if you are connected to the Supreme Lord, you are detached. That's all. You don't have to go to the forest to live in, you don't have to leave your family, you don't have to wear different color of clothes, nothing you have to do. You just have to add Krishna to your life and you're detached. That's all. Very simple. Just add Krishna to your life and do service to Krishna, Guru and Krishna, the spiritual master. As the knowledge comes from the spiritual master, Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Tesham ivanu kampartham amma jnanam jantama nashyami atma bhasto jnanadipena bhasvata. He says, from where does the knowledge comes? The knowledge comes from your mind itself. I'm going to give you from your heart. When I bless you, you will get the knowledge from your heart itself, because I am going to give you that. I will give it to you. You will be blessed. That is my kripa, my mercy. Tesham ivanu kampartham. Kampartham is my mercy. By my mercy, the ignorance from your heart will wipe out, and you will become enlightened. The knowledge will actually come. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpanam Marjana, when he says this first verse of Shikshashtakam. He says, the chanting of the holy name is so powerful that it will give you, it is the source of transcendental knowledge. Imagine, just you chant and the transcendental knowledge is revealed to you. You may say, oh, I can't understand Bhagavad Gita, it's such a thick book. You just read it and you just chant the holy name. Krishna is going to help you to reveal, he will reveal this knowledge in your heart. You may not, sometimes you'll be surprised, oh, I had read this 100 times, but I didn't understand the meaning, understood the meaning. And when you are chanting so nicely without any offenses, sincerely, you will see, oh, you could understand it in one go. How could you understand it? Sometimes when you will read it, you will think that, oh, I did not read this earlier, but I know it. Because you were chanting so nicely that Krishna revealed it in your heart. He gave the knowledge in your heart. And this knowledge is experiential knowledge. It is not just theory. We cannot just by heart or by rote like it is when we learn everything by heart. So this is not that kind of knowledge that you can just grab it like you can just be saying the loose language by heart, you learn it by rote, R-O-T-E. It's not that. This grantha, this scripture, it's actually learned by experience. Just you chant nicely, sincerely, surrender to the Guru and Krishna, and then you see this knowledge reveals in your heart. It stays in your heart. Then you work according to it. That's why Arjun was told to surrender, and that surrender would be of mind. He said, give me your mind and intelligence. That is the real surrender. When we offer our mind and intelligence to Krishna, we work with his intelligence, and that is what is written in the Bhagavad Gita. We follow that. So anybody has any questions, they can ask. It's already 6:22. I don't know how long I have to go on. I can go on. If anybody has any question, we can talk about it. Yes, Prabhu.
You were saying earlier on that you're an author.
Yes, Prabhu.
and we conditioned souls and all. We also author a book. It's called Justifiable, Intelligent, Rational, Clever Reasons and Justifications Why We Do Not Surrender to Krishna. How to take that book and throw it in the bin.
We think we are very clever. Krishna is the cleverest of the clever. That is why he said, yesterday also we discussed the same, that's why he said, at the time of you want to come back to me, if you make that decision, I'll just give an example. When he says, you want to come back to me. So he says, I give you the opportunity to come back to me. Because then only you will be liberated from this, this world, this material world. You will be liberated if you come back to me. Then you don't have to go back. You'll be out of the cycle of birth and death. But I give you a condition that you chant my name at the time of death. The last breath is when you chant my name. And then he does not tell what is going to be the last breath of ours, when it will happen. Nobody knows. You may go to the biggest of the astrologer, he may tell you the year you will die, but he cannot tell you the moment you will die. Nobody can tell you. So that means Krishna is so clever, he kept this in his hand. He's the cleverest of the clever. We become clever, we think, at the time of death we will chant his name. But then he does not tell anybody who's going to die when. So that means he wants everybody should chant all the time. All the time they should remember him. So how clever he is. We may think, I'm very clever. I need all the justifications. I need everything, verifications and evidences and everything. First you prove that who is Krishna. First you show me Krishna, then people talk about that. First you show me Krishna, then I will believe he's the Supreme Lord. So then Krishna has told himself. He says, you have to, actually spiritual life, it means that first you believe and then Krishna shows. Science is what it is that we first see it and then we believe it. That's what the kids these days, they say. First show and then we believe. But the spiritual world is first you believe and then Krishna shows. Prahlad had the belief and then Krishna appeared. Dhruv had the belief. He had the faith in his mother's words. His mother said, you will find the Supreme Lord in the forest. I've heard about it. That those who go to the forest, they find the Supreme Lord. And he had faith in his mother's words. And he went looking for Krishna. So if one goes looking for Krishna and has faith, Krishna reveals. He does come. And he appeared there. Within 6 months of his meditation, Krishna appeared before him. He was forced to appear by the Mother Earth and other demigods. They forced him. They forced Krishna, please go and appear before Dhruva. So you see, if we really want to see him, if we really want to know him, if we are very determined, Krishna will appear. He appears before us in the form of Archa Vigraha all the time. That's Srila Prabhupada's mercy, that we can have, you can have a relationship with Krishna here. So it depends upon our faith. The moment we have faith, Krishna starts talking to us here itself. He's there always. He is within us in the form of Paramatma, he says, I'm there. He understands everything. If we are genuine, he knows it. If we are not genuine, he knows it. If we are just coming here just to oblige anybody, he knows that. If you're coming sincerely to know him, he knows that. We don't have to tell him. He knows it. In the Gurbani, in the Granth Sahib, it says, Bin boleya sab kich janata, kis aage kije ardas. You say, we need not pray before him because he knows everything what is there in our heart. Without us speaking, he knows it. But provided you are very genuine in your heart. Problem is with us, we are not genuine. Just these doors, and yesterday I was telling, these doors are closed, And the moment they will open up, the moment we will step out, we forget Krishna. Right now, we all actually fully engrossed in the words. We are fully engrossed in Krishna. We have faith like Prahlad. We have faith like Dhruva. We think, I have full faith in Krishna. The moment the door will open, we step out. We hardly remember what is happening inside. We will be so engrossed in our material world. We'll get our phones, we'll switch on, and we'll get all the phone calls. We'll start watching all the reels, we will go out, and that's all done. We'll finish. We are finished. But who carries Krishna with him? Everywhere they go. Prabhupada carried Krishna to America, and he gave Krishna to everybody there. So who carries Krishna with him? Krishna takes care of them. Krishna protects them all the time. So those who have faith in Krishna, they can tell you hundreds of experiences. It's just a matter of faith. The more your faith is on Krishna, it's a strong faith you have, everything will happen. Everything will fall in place. Yesterday we were preaching in a university. We were in the university, we were supposed to give a talk there. I was supposed to go and give a talk. But fortunately or unfortunately, there were hardly anybody who turned up there. We had prasadam also for them. But then we did not feel defeated that if there were very few or nobody turned up. We went outside and we asked them to be a part of our event. We're going to give a talk, so please be a part of it. And readily 10 students in foreign body, they accepted the invitation, they came in. There were a few Chinese, a few Australians, they came in. And we had a half-an-hour talk. Who arranged it? Krishna arranged it. He thought our sincerity, he saw our insincerity, that we are sitting there, we want to talk about him. And he went to their hearts, They were, and he asked them, when we asked them, please come in and join us, they readily came. Why? Because Krishna was in their heart and he made them get up and come in and listen, it's for you. So they were the fortunate souls. Maybe someday they will be, actually they've heard so much, maybe someday they'll have that realization because Krishna helped them. That's why when Prabhupada first came to Australia, I remember when he came, and the newspapers were actually printing everything against Hare Krishna. They were actually defaming Hare Krishna here. But then the devotees said to Prabhupada, should we go and to the newspapers and talk to them and drag them to the court or something like that? So Prabhupada said, no, let them do their job, whatever they're doing. One day, those who have said Krishna, Hare Krishna once, they will all be purified and come back here only. They will be a part of this movement. It's true that in India, there was a movie that was made in those days in 1970s. I was a kid, I remember. We were watching, I watched it in Bombay itself. I live in Delhi, but I was in Bombay for my holidays. And we had gone to see this movie. And this was Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. And they were actually portraying the devotees as they are on drugs and they are chanting the name. And I remember my Guru Maharaj says, he went to Srila Prabhupada and said, if you want, we can call this director of the movie, that's the famous Devanand. He said, we can call him and sue him. Why he's showing this is all, the devotees even don't drink tea. How can he say this, that they take drugs and sing Hare Krishna? Prabhupada said, no need. This movie will prove actually, bring devotees to our movement. Those who will chant Hare Krishna, because that song became very popular. Everybody was singing that song, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. And then Prabhupada said, one day those who are singing this will make devotees. And it happened. My Guru Maharaj tells the story further. He says he met a boy in America and asked him, how did you become a devotee? He said, when I was young, I watched this movie and I was very intrigued. And then I came to know of Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, these people. And then I went to I found such devotees on the road. And then I spoke to them and I was very influenced by them. Just that song actually had given me this inquisitiveness to see who they are, what they do. And here I am, I've become a devotee. So you see, this is, whatever anybody may think, that they want so many evidences or something. But if Krishna wants it, it will happen. It's just our surrender. If we truly pray to him, he's sitting in others' hearts. And we pray for others as well. We just don't pray for ourselves. We pray for everybody. So when we pray for everybody, then Krishna sees our humility and he helps us to preach. Preaching means going to those who don't know Krishna. So how we are able to preach? It's only because of the mercy of Krishna, Guru and Krishna. So Guru is the manifested form of Krishna before us, that's all. So Guru Seve Te Thakur Jane. Those who have served the Guru can only know Krishna. Otherwise, we cannot go to Krishna straight away. That's why we When we enter the temple, we go this way, this way. We first go there and then we come here. So we have to go there first to Srila Prabhupada. He is our eminent Shiksha Guru. So we go there, take his blessings, and then come here. Because if we come straight, we will not be received by Krishna. He will not acknowledge our presence at all. So we should always go there and then come here. That's important for us. I hope I answered your question. Haribo. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can you please explain the commonalities between the Sikh and the Sikh doctrine and also our Vaishnava?
What particularly, which aspect you want to understand?
Basically, the Vaishnava.
Yeah.
Vaishnavism in Sikh.
So there is, we all know the Vaishnavas are actually, they are not enemies to their own enemies even. That's a quote in the, our culture. It's Vaishnava culture means that. And they are actually surrendered. So the day before also I was telling about that in those who read the Sikh scripture, there is a part of it called Sukhmani. In the 9th Ashtapadi of Sukhmani, the 9th verse of Sukhmani, there are 24 Ashtapadis, there are 24 verses. So we have 24 hours in a day. So it was given like that. With every breath, you sing the glories. The purpose was that. So in the 9th Ashtapadi, all the verses, they described something about the saints, about Brahmgyanis, everything there, it has been described there. So in the 9th Ashtapadi, clearly it says, Mithya nahi rasna paras manmaya preet niranjan das. Our Vaishnavas are the one who are actually, the falsity doesn't touch their tongue, they are always very truthful. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, be truthful. Speak the truth in a very palatable way, in a very sweet way. He says that. Speak truth always, but in a very sweet manner. Because truth is very bitter to tell. But it should be always spoken with, very sweetly it should be spoken. It's a sweet poison one should give to others. So, the Vaishnava is the one who never touches false. Because if you touch falsity, that means everything that is negativity comes from falsity itself. The day you speak false, like when you are hum jhoot bolte and then we speak lies, that is false. A false behavior, if you put up a fake behavior. Prabhupada tells in the Bhagavatam again and again, don't be a pseudo devotee. A pseudo is a fake devotee. Never be a fake devotee. Never be a person, you have a character, same character you should carry. It should not be for temple you have one personality and at home you have another personality. Don't have that. Have only one personality. Don't be fake. So that is how it starts here. Mithya nahi rasna paras. Manamaya preet niranjan daras. In your mind you are always singing. Daras means you want to always take darshan of the Supreme Lord. You're lingering for Him. That's what Rupa Goswami says. The price to pay for Krishna consciousness is the deep greed in you. That is the price. If you want to buy Krishna consciousness, you have to pay a price. And the price is deep greed to get it. If you don't have that deep greed, you will not get it. Deep greed, when you are very greedy, you can do anything for it. So if you have deep greed in you to get Krishna consciousness, so you will do anything to get it. That's why he said, accept that is favorable immediately and shed away that is unfavorable to your bhakti, to your spiritual life. Give it away immediately. Some people, they drink tea or they smoke. They say, oh, okay. We'll leave that first and then we will come to Krishna consciousness. So it should be done immediately. If you think twice, it will be gone from your hand. Because it's very priceless. It's with it's not easy to get Krishna consciousness. We think it's an easy job. It's not easy. We are very fortunate if we are here. If we can hear the glories of the holy name. We are very fortunate. This fortune may be taken away from us. Because due to some karma of us, some piety of us, we are here. And is actually spent, it's gone. So it might be taken away from us. This moment may not come back in our life again. So, mithya nahi rasna paras manmaya preet niranjan dars. Paristri rupna pekhe netra. A Vaishnava doesn't look at other women's beauty or other men's. They are Vaishnavas actually, they take the one husband or one wife. That is what Prabhupada gave us. No illicit sex. That is one husband, one wife. The rest all are the women, they are like your mothers or sisters. That's why we call Mataji and Mother in ISKCON everywhere in the world. Except your wife, the men address other women as mothers. So that is par istri roop na pekhe netra. He doesn't look at the beauty of other women. So likewise, I won't go into the whole verse, it will take another hour. So it comes here, this is a Vaishnava. Vishan ki maya te hoye pin. The Maya belongs to Vishnu. The Vishnu in Punjabi, in this Punjabi dialect we say Vishan. So Vishan di Maya te hoye pin. So a Vaishnava, he knows the Maya belongs to Vishnu. That's why Krishna says, Devi Heshi Mama, Devi Heshi Gunmaya, Mama Duratya. He says, that's my Maya. So that's what the Granth Sahib says. Vishan ki Maya, this is Vishnu's Maya. But what does the Vaishnava does? He remains aloof to that Maya. He does not touch that Maya. He remains away from the Maya. He knows it belongs to Vishnu. But yet, he does not surrender to Maya. He surrenders to Vishnu. He surrenders to Krishna. Aap dride avro naam japave nanak e Vaishnav param katapave. The last lines they come. So, aap jape, he chants the holy name himself and makes others also chant. He preaches the glories to others as well. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, this Vaishnava is going to be liberated. He is actually going to get the Paramgati. That is a Vaishnava. So Prabhupada has given us these qualities to follow. He's explained them to us in the purport so easily for us, to make it easy for us to understand. So we are again and again, I say, we are very fortunate. And that is how in the Granth Sahib lots of things have come up like this. About the Vaishnavas, there are Vaishnava teachings that how Krishna has been glorified, how we did the story of Dhruva and Prahlad, it's been mentioned there. It says, Ram japoji aise aise, Dhruva Prahlad japyo har jaise. Chant the name of Ram just like Dhruva and Prahlad chanted the name of Hari. So then it says, talks about Draupadi Lajja Nivaran Hara. He is the one who protected Draupadi. He is the one who protected Prahlad. Ajamil, Keh Narayan Ajamil Udryo. It talks about Ajamil, that Ajamil actually got liberated just by saying Narayan. These all stories you can find in the Granth Sahib, they are there. There are many, many more stories which in the coming few days I'm here, so I'll be talking about them again tomorrow, tomorrow evening, day after tomorrow. I have 2-3 more programs, house programs. So you all can be a part of it to know more about it. So likewise, there are, I have written them, and some books, actually we have finished with them. We have only some copies left of. I've written 6 books, but only I can say very few copies are there with me. And there's this book on the Guru, the spiritual father. It talks about even initiation. That how in the Granth Sahib even it says that, ki bin dikhya kaisa gyan. It says, without initiation, how can one have knowledge in their hearts? You cannot sustain knowledge. It clearly mentions here, and I've given this from the Granth Sahib, from the Gita, from Bhakti Sandarbha, so you can actually go through it to understand the similarities. It says here, Naam bina sab jag baurana, bin bairag kahan bairagi, bin bas panch kahan man chhore, bin guru dikhya kaise gyan. So it means here, Naam bina sab jag baurana. Without chanting the holy name, the whole world is insane. The whole world is actually like a mad, it's a mad's world. Bin bairag kahan bairagi. So we were talking about detachment right now, how the mind can be controlled with detachment and knowledge. So it says here, bin bairag kahan bairagi. Without detachment, how can one be a detached hermit? How can one be a detached saint? Bin bas panch kahan man chure. So without overcoming the 5 thieves, who are these 5 thieves we have? We have Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, lust, anger, greed, enviousness. These are the 5 thieves. How can the mind be subdued without actually overcoming these 5 thieves, without catching these 5 thieves? Without renouncing egoism, how can anyone be a renunciate? How can one say I'm a renunciate until he has given up his ego? So likewise, how can one say I'm a detached unless he has become detached? Bin gur dikhya Kaisa Gyan. So without receiving the initiation from the Guru, how can anyone obtain the spiritual wisdom? The spiritual knowledge comes with the blessings of the Guru. So yesterday, as I told you all how I wrote the first book in my life, Vaishnava Teachings in Sikhism, without my spiritual master had already announced that she has written a book, because he had been telling me for so many years, write a book, and I was not writing. I did not think myself to be qualified to write a book. But he was saying write it, and I was not writing it. But then finally he tells to Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, who was then Prabhu, Devamrit Prabhu, he told him, she's written a book on Vaishnavism and Sikhism, and I had not written a word. But then my Guru Maharaj knew that I would be writing. So he announced to the world before I could say that I have written. He told the world that she's written. And then I sat down, and within 1.5 months, I completed the book and offered to him. I could not have done that. It's only he made me write it. So that's how it is. Without Guru Diksha, there is no Gyan, there is no knowledge. So this is from this book, and there are many others books. Then I wrote this. The latest one this year is The Death, the Unstoppable. So it talks about pages from my life, as well as it talks about the death. How there are similarities, the verse is given in the Granth Sahib and the Bhagavatam and the Gita. So like there is Vaishnavism and Sikhism, there's another book there. And this is a Back to Godhead magazine, which contains my article as well. I am an author for many articles. So this contains the first 2 articles. One is about Prabhupada. The second article is on my Guru Maharaj, because he left his body just 3 months back. In May, he left this world. And then the third article is by me. I wrote about the Rohini temple, the most beautiful temple in ISKCON right now that came up in Delhi. So that temple, I wrote an article because my Guru Maharaj wanted me to write this article on Rohini temple because of its opening. It's a very beautiful artistic temple. If you're visiting Delhi, do please go and visit this temple. It just opened up on this Ram Navami. And Guru Maharaj, actually, when I wrote the article, he always wanted to listen or read my article before it went for printing, even to an international magazine or to the Indian Back to Godhead. He would always read my article first. And then I was very blessed that before he left for Dehradun, I read this article to him in his rooms. I was sitting there with my husband, and Guru Maharaj said, I want to see the article you have written. So I said, Guru Maharaj, if you want to read, I can just give it to you. Then he said, no, it will be too heavy for me to read. I'm not that well that I can read it. So I said, okay, I will read it to you, and if you allow. He said, yes, go ahead and read it to me. So I read the whole article to him, and when this article was printed, he said, it's very nice, Radhika Kripa, you are a gifted writer. I said, I have done nothing, Guru Maharaj. It's always I follow what you say. I know I have no qualification. And then he just smiled, and then little did I knew that when this article would be printed, it will be printed with a tribute to him. He would no more be there to see it himself that it has been printed. But I'm fortunate that he heard it before he left. He knew this article I had written. Because he wanted me to follow his instructions always. That if he would inquire from me, have you written? Have you written? And I should be like, he wanted me to be on my toes, Within 2 days, he wanted the things to be done, or sometimes in 1 day, he would say, or in 1 hour even. I remember the Ghaziabad temple was opening in Delhi, another temple, many years back. I attended the whole ceremony there, and then in the evening, I get a call by 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and he says, Radhika Kripa, can you write an article on the opening of the temple? I said, yes, Maharaj, I will write it and send it to you tomorrow. He says, what do you mean by tomorrow? I want it this night itself. And then I sat down, and when I said, Maharaj, okay, I'll try. I just said try, and he gave the service to one more person immediately. And that person also wrote the article, and I sent it by 11 o'clock in the middle of the night. By 12 o'clock, I sent the article through with the title. And then the next day, he says, you were late. I didn't take your article. He said, I've accepted your title. Your title is very nice. So we have the article from other person, and title is yours. I said, okay, Guru Maharaj. So that day I learned a lesson that I'm not going to tell him I'll try. I'll say I'm going to do it. And that's what I learned, the lesson. So Guru is always teaching us. And he's not partial. He's very impartial. That is the quality. He's just like Krishna. When Krishna says, I am impartial, that's how a Guru is. He's impartial. And now he's asking me to end early. He said, go on, go on. Very well. I thank you everybody for being a part of this talk. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaurnitai ki jai. If anyone wants these books, we are left with very few copies. You can just contact Ritesh Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jai.